All right, fellas. Today we're talking about Zenitsu. I said it wrong. I know I did, but you guys got to be like Zenitsu, right? You got to focus on one thing. A lot of you guys get the shiny object syndrome. You start keto diet one day, then the next day, guess what you do? You start something new. You start the watermelon fast. Then guess what you do? You see some bullshit on YouTube. You're like, oh, let me start a water fast. You got to stick to one thing and master it, right? And remember, the only thing that fucking works is a high protein calorie deficit and strength training. That's what's going to get you the results that you want. All right. The only issue that you have is you don't have that patience. Look how fucking long it took Zenitsu before he really locked in. That's how a lot of people's journey are, right? Like he heard about his master's death, and then he really locked in and got serious and got to Hashira level, right? That's what happens when you stay locked in. Like I've had some clients, they've been locked in for like, they're locked in for like 6-7 months. They're doing the workout shit. They're not locking in on nutrition 100%. Then they just get pissed of their own bullshit, and then they lock in on their nutrition, right? That wouldn't have happened if they weren't consistent. Consistency is the secret. Everyone asks for the secret. What's the secret? What's the secret? What's the secret? Consistency is the fucking secret. Nothing happens without consistency. There is no progress without consistency. You can't even get fat without consistency. You see what I'm saying? So getting lean, you're not getting lean without consistency. You're not building muscle without consistency. You gotta focus on doing the same shit over and over and over and over and over until it compounds enough to give you the results that you fucking want. Like y'all be lifting weights and you're like, what's next? What's next? No, fuck that. Realistically, bro, what you need to do is you need to do the same program for at least a fucking year. All right, do the same program for at least a year. All right, that's how you're really gonna get results, because that's what you're literally gonna get stronger in all those movements, and you'll be able to track your progressive overload. Versus if you switch up programs every day, like a lot of people do HIIT one week, and then they do lists another week, and then the next week they're doing a boot camp. And then the next week they're doing powerlifting, then the next week they're doing strength base, and the next week they're doing hypertrophy. And they're doing all these different exercises, then they take a week off because they're like, man, this is too much. Then they do CrossFit, and then they're like, oh, this is too much. Then they do endurance running. You're not gonna be able to master anything if you change every fucking day. It's like if you literally go into Indeed, you're not qualified to be a fucking air pilot, and you just type in, let me be an air pilot. Obviously you're not fucking qualified, but just imagine if every day you went to work, you had new tasks. You would never, ever master it. And just imagine your first day at work. This is how I always like to think about the fitness journey. Because my first day at work, working overnight as a nurse, right, I was literally stressed the fuck out. I was like, I gotta do all this shit, I gotta do all this shit. Skipped lunch, was stressed out, thinking about it when I went home, still stressed out about it. And then the next day, same thing, next day, same thing. Within 6 months, I'm taking my lunch break, I'm taking 2 breaks. Everything is smooth sailing because guess what? I mastered it through experience. You get confidence through experience. You get better through experience. You cannot skip experience, and experience is basically consistency. So you got to be consistent to build experience to get better at it. Because like I said, y'all, I was literally in the gym going around to everybody. Hey, how do you get traps? How do you get traps? Hey, your shoulders are like that. How do you get it like that? How do you get it like that? And they're just giving me free game, and I applied it and I stayed consistent to the point where they're like, oh shit, you actually, like everyone was fucking surprised. They're like, oh, you actually applied it. Then I went to a new gym. And now I have these young kids asking me the same thing I used to ask them. And it's like, if I wasn't consistent, I wouldn't be able to inspire those people. But also, if I wasn't consistent, I would even think it was possible. Like a lot of you guys that negate shit, or you're like, oh, you can't get results. You can't do this. That's too fast. Your results are too fast. You're lying. All of you guys that say shit like that, you guys have never been consistent in your life. That's the main issue. You see what I'm saying? So you've never been consistent, so you don't think it's possible. Which makes sense if you've never been consistent. But here's what I'm going to say to you, right? If you're currently out of shape, overweight, have you always been out of shape, overweight? No, there was a part in life where you're skinny. You're not born fat as shit, right? There's a part of your life where you're skinny. How did you get fat? Through consistency, through gaining that 1 pound per month. Go look at your high school friends, right? I follow my high school friends on Facebook. They follow me on Facebook. I see them getting big as fuck every year, right? They get big as shit. Their waist size is insane. I can't even measure that shit, right? Probably need like a new tape measure. I see it every fucking year, right? And guess what? When I was working out and I was training people, and they were getting leaner, I was getting people leaner in person. I was doing online training in person. I was watching my high school friends. I'm like, they're not really gaining a lot of weight at once, but in 10 years they're gonna be like, damn, what the fuck happened? I'm watching them gain 1 inch every 3 months. You feel me? That's 4 inches a year. That's nothing crazy. After 10 years, if they were to gain that much, that'd be 40 inches, but it slows down eventually. So after about 10 years, they gain about 9 to 16 inches, anywhere in that range. And you can see it in their clothes, you can see it in their face, and that's how you gain weight. So that happens with consistency. Maybe they ate extra ice cream every night. Maybe they ate, an extra piece of chicken every night, extra piece of like fried chicken every night. You see what I'm saying? Maybe they went to their grandma Saturday and Sunday to get some Haitian food and Jamaican food instead of just Saturday. So those are the things that add up. Maybe they, stopped doing that cardio after their workout. Maybe they started skipping workouts. That's what happens, all right? That's how you get fat. You get fat through consistency. So once you realize that shit, you'll realize you get lean through consistency. Every time I talk about this shit on TikTok, people get so offended. They're like, oh my God, you're talking about fat people. listen, fat is just a result of habits. It's not a genetic issue. You're not just born fat and then you're fat forever and you can't do anything about it. It's really just victim mindset. Yeah, you can, I don't care where you start. Everyone starts somewhere, but if you're not going to do something about it, you're cooked. That's simple, man. So be like Zenitsu, bro.